This is a 2019 Husqvarna TE-150. Today we're going to be installing this Enduro Engineering rear disc brake guard. So the rear disc on most dirt bikes is pretty vulnerable to roots and rocks and stuff like that. This disc guard will protect the disc from getting damaged if you hit a root or a rock or get into a deep rut. First thing I'm going to do is remove the rear wheel. Now while I'm picking up on the rear wheel, taking the weight off of it, I'm going to slide the axle out. Now that's still holding the wheel. I'm going to remove the chain off of the sprocket, remove the rear wheel. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is remove the brake pads from the rear brake caliper. Need to remove this clip. Now I'm going to pull this pin out, but on this caliper I've got to depress this little tab so the pin will slide. The pin out. Once that pin's out, these brake pads will come right out. Now I'm going to move this bracket forward and then remove it from the swing arm. At this point, you can remove the caliper from this bracket. It's only held in by these slides at this point, and these two parts will just slide apart like that. Okay, now we got to move some parts from this bracket to the new rear disc guard bracket. We're going to need to remove this rubber boot, move it to this bracket. We'll also need to remove this clip and this slot. And then we'll need to move these three pieces over to this bracket. To remove this boot, you just pull it out. I'm going to make sure this is clean. Now that piece is in. Now to remove this piece, we're going to need to pull these tabs out and gently lift that up out of there. And then place it onto the new bracket. And the last piece is this slide piece. Before you reinstall this, you'll want to put some Loctite on it. Now, that is ready to go on the bike. So you want to make sure these slides, these pieces are clean. And there's another one on your brake caliper. You want to make sure that's getting clean. You don't want any dirt or anything in those slides. And you can put some new grease on them. Now you're going to slide the caliper back onto this bracket the same way it slid off of there. So you just line up your two slides slide it back on there. Now I'm going to line this slot up, the large opening in the slot, with the tab on the swing arm. Slide it back in there. Bring it back to approximately where it should be. And now we can reinstall the brake pads. So I'll put this brake pad in first. I'll put the pin in just to hold that pad. I'll put the other brake pad back in. I'll reinstall this clip. Alright, now I'm going to maneuver the disc up in between those pads. Now while you're supporting the tire and the wheel with your right hand, you can put the chain back on the sprocket. And then the axle back in. Before you tighten your axle nut, you want to make sure that it's pushed all the way forward against the adjusters. And then you can tighten. That gets tightened to 59 pound-feet. And that's how you install a rear disc brake guard on Husqvarna TE-150.